There's a reason why some people remain unshaken no matter what happens. The world throws chaos at them, people insult them, plans fall apart, setbacks hit them one after another, yet they remain still, as if untouched by the storm. What do they know that you don't? Most people go through life reacting to everything. Someone cuts them off in traffic, instant rage. A coworker makes a passive-aggressive remark, their whole mood is ruined. A stranger gives them a weird look, self-doubt creeps in. But what if you could break free from all of it? What if nothing, no person, no situation, no external force, had the power to affect you ever again? Carl Jung believed that most people are prisoners of their own reactions. They think the world is doing things to them, when in reality, they are simply mirrors, reflecting back everything they haven't yet mastered within themselves. Here's the truth. Nothing can affect you unless it finds something inside you to attach to. If someone calls you stupid and you feel angry, it's because some part of you fears it might be true. If someone ignores you and you feel hurt, it's because some part of you still seeks external validation. This is why two people can face the exact same situation and react completely differently. It's never about what happens. It's about what's happening inside you. Jung called this shadow work, the process of making the unconscious conscious, of recognizing that every irritation, every frustration, every emotional trigger is actually a message from within. Most people run from these triggers. They try to silence them, to ignore them, to blame the world for making them feel this way. But those who truly wake up realize something revolutionary. The outside world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner world. And the moment you understand this, you unlock something powerful, the ability to control your reality by mastering yourself. But here's the problem. Most people don't want to hear this. They'd rather believe that their boss, their ex, their circumstances, or even bad luck is to blame for their suffering. It's easier to believe that life is unfair than to accept that you might be the one giving everything its power over you. But for those who are willing to look deeper, who are willing to stop blaming and start observing, a whole new level of freedom becomes possible. And the best part, once you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. You don't need to avoid negative people. You don't need to control situations. You simply become immune. Not detached, not emotionless, but completely untouchable. The illusion of control and the freedom of letting go. Most people spend their entire lives trying to control things they were never meant to control. They want people to like them, they want life to be predictable, they want everything to go their way, and when it doesn't, they suffer. They get angry when someone disrespects them. They feel betrayed when life doesn't unfold according to plan. They take everything personally, as if the universe has singled them out for some kind of cruel test. But here's the truth. Nothing in this world is actually under your control, except one thing, your perception. Carl Jung understood something that most people never realize. The world outside of you is neutral. It is neither good nor bad, kind nor cruel. It just is. The only thing that makes it seem positive or negative is the filter through which you see it. Think about this. Two people can go through the exact same experience. A breakup, a financial loss, a failure. One person spirals into self-destruction, convinced they've lost everything. The other person sees it as a lesson, an opportunity to grow, a path toward something better. The difference? Their perception. Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This means that as long as you are unaware of the stories you're telling yourself about people, about success, about your own worth, you will continue to react blindly, thinking life is happening to you rather than realizing it's all happening because of you. Here's where things get interesting. The more you try to control the external world, the more power you give it over you. The moment you need someone to respect you, they have power over you. The moment you need a situation to go a certain way, it controls you. The moment you need life to be fair, you set yourself up for disappointment. But once you let go of the illusion of control, everything shifts. Suddenly, you're free. Free from the need for approval, free from the fear of failure, free from the exhausting effort of trying to make the world bend to your expectations. Think about it. The people who are truly untouchable in life are not the ones who control everything. They are the ones who master themselves. They are the ones who remain calm in the storm, unshaken by chaos, indifferent to insults, fearless in the face of uncertainty. They know something most people don't. Control is an illusion, and the moment you stop chasing it, you become truly powerful. And here's the paradox. When you stop needing things to go your way, they often do. When you stop fearing what people think, you naturally become more confident. When you stop chasing success out of desperation, opportunities start appearing effortlessly. When you stop resisting life and start flowing with it, everything seems to fall into place. This isn't just philosophy, it's neuroscience. Studies in cognitive psychology show that the more we obsess over controlling something, whether it's a person, an outcome, or even our own thoughts, the more we create resistance. This is why people who are desperate for love repel it, why people who are terrified of failure sabotage themselves, why those who cling to control end up feeling the most powerless. So the question is, are you living in reaction, or are you in control of your perception? Because once you realize that nothing outside of you has power over you, life starts to feel like a completely different game. The untouchable mind, how to be unshaken by anything. Imagine a scenario. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, when suddenly someone shouts an insult at you. Maybe they call you foolish, weak, or tell you that you'll never amount to anything. Now, pause for a second. What happens inside you at that moment? Most people would either get defensive or feel hurt. Their emotions hijack them before they even have time to think. Their heart rate spikes, anger kicks in, or they replay the insult over and over in their mind, feeding their frustration. But now, imagine a different response. Absolutely nothing. No reaction, no emotional spike, just a calm realization. That has nothing to do with me. This is what the Stoics, Zen masters, and even Carl Jung understood deeply. Nothing outside of you has the power to disturb you unless you give it permission. But let's go deeper. Why do most people get affected? Because they're identified with a false self, a fragile mental construct built on opinions, validation, and attachment to outcomes. This is why they react so strongly when challenged. It's not just an insult, it's a threat to their identity. Jung spoke of the shadow self, the hidden part of our psyche that holds all the fears, insecurities, and unresolved wounds we refuse to face. When someone triggers an emotional reaction in us, they're not creating pain. They're revealing pain that was already there. Think about it. If you were truly at peace with yourself, someone's insult would mean nothing. It would be like yelling at a mountain. It simply echoes back without response. So the real question is, why are you reacting? If someone calls you a failure, does it hit a nerve because deep down, you fear it might be true? If someone disrespects you, does it enrage you because you crave recognition? If things don't go your way, do you spiral because you're attached to a specific outcome? The problem isn't the world. The problem is the way you see yourself. The real power isn't in silencing the world, avoiding criticism, or eliminating problems. It's in developing an unshakable mind, a mind that doesn't need external validation, a mind that doesn't crumble when faced with obstacles, a mind that understands that all control begins and ends with perception. This isn't just philosophy, it's psychological conditioning. Studies show that emotional reactivity is a habit. The brain develops neural pathways that reinforce reactions, meaning the more you let the outside world control your emotions, the more automatic it becomes. But here's the good news. You can rewire this. Neuroscientists have found that through mindfulness, cognitive reframing, and exposure to discomfort, you can literally train your brain to be less reactive. Over time, insults stop triggering you. Failures don't define you. Uncertainty no longer scares you. At that point, you become untouchable. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. There's something strange about human nature. People believe they are reacting to the world, but in reality, they are reacting to themselves. Imagine this. Someone insults you. The words hit like a dagger. But pause for a second. Where do you actually feel the pain? It's not in the words. It's in the meaning you assign to them, the hidden wounds they touch, the stories you've been carrying in your subconscious. Carl Jung knew this well. He once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." That's the brutal truth most people don't want to accept. Nothing outside of you has power over you unless you give it power. Think of it like a mirror. If your reflection in the mirror suddenly frowned at you, you wouldn't get angry at the mirror. You'd realize that it's just reflecting what you're doing. Yet, when life does the same, when people provoke emotions in us, we react as if the mirror is to blame. We point fingers, demand others change, instead of realizing it's just our inner world projected outward. The real question is, why do we give so much power to things outside of us? The reason is simple. Attachment. When your identity is tied to external things, opinions, validation, outcomes, you will always be at their mercy. But what if you didn't play the game? What if, instead of reacting, you became the one who observes? Detachment is not about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming untouchable. It's about realizing that you are not the emotions. You are the awareness behind them. Think about a storm. It rages, lightning strikes, the wind howls, but above it all, the sky remains untouched. You are the sky, not the storm. This is why the greatest power isn't in controlling the world. It's in controlling your perception of it. And here's the best part. When you stop reacting, you start controlling reality itself. People sense it. They can't shake you. They can't manipulate you. They can't influence your peace, because now you own your energy. So the question is, how do you step into this state of untouchable presence? That's what we'll uncover next. So how do you step into this state of untouchable presence? It begins with a radical shift in awareness, understanding that you have never been reacting to the world, only to your mind's interpretation of it. Think about it. Two people can experience the exact same situation and walk away with completely different emotions. Someone bumps into you on the street, one person shrugs it off and moves on, another takes it personally, brewing anger for hours. The event is the same, but the response is entirely different. Why? Because the reaction was never about the event. It was about the mind's perception of it. Carl Jung often spoke about the shadow self, the unconscious parts of our psyche that we suppress, the wounds we hide, the emotions we reject. And yet, these are the very things that control us. Why do certain words trigger us? Why do certain people get under our skin? Because they're pressing on parts of us we haven't fully faced. If someone can easily manipulate your emotions, it's because they are holding a piece of you that you haven't owned yet. The trick to becoming unshakable is not to suppress emotions. It's to fully acknowledge them and take away their power. Instead of fighting your triggers, study them. Instead of blaming people for provoking emotions, ask, what part of me is being exposed here? Imagine a chessboard. Most people go through life playing as the pieces, reacting to every move, getting caught up in the game. But true mastery is in becoming the player, the one who sees the full board. Better yet, become the person watching the game from above, seeing all the moves before they happen. That's what emotional detachment truly is. Not numbness, but mastery. You're not ignoring emotions, you're understanding them so deeply that they no longer control you. You become an observer instead of a prisoner of your reactions. And here's the wild part. Once you stop reacting, the world starts responding to you instead. People sense your energy shift. You no longer chase validation, so people seek it from you. You no longer react to negativity, so it loses its grip on you. You stop being a puppet of the world and start being the one pulling the strings. The key is self-awareness in real time. In every moment, you have two choices: react mindlessly or observe consciously. The next time someone tries to provoke you, catch yourself in that split second before reacting. Feel the trigger rise, but instead of acting on it, just watch. Like a scientist observing an experiment, detached, curious. That's the moment of power. But how do you sharpen this skill until it becomes second nature? That's what we'll dive into next. The moment you stop letting the world pull your strings, you take back control. Master your reactions, and you master your reality. If this resonated with you, drop a comment below. What was your biggest takeaway? And if you're ready to keep expanding your mind, hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. See you in the next one.